Guys, it's Frances and I have a New Year's Eve look for you. This is a black and silver and gold tutorial. If you'd like to see how I got this look, just keep watching. Okay, so I'm starting off with my base coat and then I'm going to apply black polish to all but my middle finger. I don't usually show the application of my base color, but I wanted to show you guys this one. I have several black polishes and I was going through them trying to figure out which ones stamp and which ones don't. And this is a Wet n Wild polish called Power Outage, and the application is pretty bad. It is definitely not one that I would recommend for as a black polish. There are so many others out there. I would definitely recommend the Sinful Colors and the, if you can get your hands on it, Funky Fingers, Dark Night rather. This one is so patchy and it goes on so terribly. It does get opaque by the second coat, but I wouldn't recommend it. Now for my middle finger, I want to do a gradient. I'm starting out with a cosmetic sponge and it's damp, and I have Celeb City and Golden Eye, which are both Sally Hansen Xtreme wear, and I'm hoping they're still available. They're gorgeous. Though I'm putting them on the dampened sponge, I'm going to do a gradient of silver and gold on my middle finger. I have been thinking about doing this gradient for a long time, and look at the glitter on that. These are really beautiful polishes. I'm hoping that they're still available for you guys, but if you have them, I would definitely recommend doing the gradient. Now normally I'd start out with a polish already on my middle finger, one of the lighter colors. I couldn't figure out, I figured that if I tried to start with a base color that this would definitely be, it would affect the other color. Whichever color I chose to put on the bottom would probably affect the other color, so I was hoping I could get this opaque enough. Now here's my second pass. I waited a little bit for them to dry in between, which is really tough for me since I'm impatient. But I definitely recommend waiting, otherwise you'll pull up the polish, the first layer of polish. I'm going up for my second layer here. I think I went for a total of 3 layers of this before I couldn't see any visible nail line. And look at, isn't that stunning? Okay, so now I realized I had forgotten to put on liquid latex. So now I have a ton to clean up, and I'm using just 100% acetone and a dampened dish here with an e.l.f. Concealer brush to clean up. I don't know if you can see on this, but it's just like glitter cascading into my cuticles. This cleanup was just some of the prettiest stuff I've ever seen. It was a pain, and I've actually sped it up a little bit so you guys don't have to watch me do 3 hours worth of cleanup. And I actually did have to do cleanup even after this clip because it's just, there was glitter left all over the place. So here's something for you guys. Don't forget the liquid latex when you're doing a gradient, because the cleanup is just so much easier that way. But I promise you in the end, it is well worth it. Look at that gradient. I just love it. Okay, now I'm going to add a top coat to prepare the nails for stamping. I want to make sure that if I need to pull up any of the stamping, I can pull it up. The top coat will protect the bottom layer, and it will also help to kind of blend that gradient together a little bit better. And I've also sped this up for you so you don't have to watch me paint on a gradient very slowly. All my stamping images are coming from this one Bundle Monster plate, and it's from their holiday set, and I will link it below. I'm using Funky Fingers Dark Night, No Place Like Chrome from Essie, and a Mundo de Uñas in gold to do my stamping. I decided to use this particular clock for my middle finger, and I just thought this was such a beautiful and kind of classic looking timepiece to represent almost midnight for New Year's Eve. And I'm putting that right there. It's a nice open image so that you can actually see the gradient underneath. And I really loved how that turned out. And now I decided to keep the idea of the gradient, so I'm going to do gradient stamping. So I'm doing the Mundo de Uñas Gold and the Essie Silver, or No Place Like Chrome, and I'm going to pick up that Fireworks image. I'm cleaning it up with a lint roller, the excess that was on there that I didn't want, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that one on my pointer finger. Now I'm going for this confetti and stars, and I figured I would do the confetti in gold and the stars in silver. And I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I'm just using an AliExpress clear stamper there. And I'm cleaning it up a little bit, and as I'm noticing as I'm cleaning it up that it's kind of patchy, especially the stars. And I don't know whether it was because I was using regular polish and it dried up too fast, but now I'm going to go ahead and try again. And I probably should not have put that regular polish down first, but yeah, you live and learn. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this one and stamp again. And I didn't like that one. So I got it a third time here, and I'm looking at it, and again, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it that well, the stars as well as the confetti are both kind of patchy, so this stamper's not picking up. So I watched Nail Stamp for Fun, and she recommends using a baby wipe, so that's what I did, and then I dried it with a paper towel afterwards. And here I'm going for my third time, and this was a much better pickup. I'm cleaning up a little bit around the edges so don't get anything excess on there, and this one is going on my baby pinky. And as I got it on, the confetti went on beautifully, but my pinkies are shorter and smaller, so the stars didn't go on. I've turned around the stamper and trying to put the whatever's leftover stars, trying to adhere whatever's there, and it turned out pretty cute. And then for my thumb, I ended up going with the champagne bottle and the little stars there too. And I got this pickup, and again, we'll clean it up with a lint roller and stick this one right on my thumb. Now you see there's patches missing, and I couldn't handle it. So I decided to come in with the brush, just from the nail polish brush, just using the nail polish brush rather, and come in and kind of fill in those areas, patchy areas that I think didn't pick up the right way, or I got stuck on the stamper head. And this is an easy way to kind of fix. And there it is. All right, so I decided that I was going to add some big black hex sequins. I found these at Target in the dollar bin, I think last year, right around this time of year. And I wanted to add them to my accent nail and cover the entire nail, and I figured they would fit in nicely with one another. I put that black coat on that nail just because I felt like it would help fill in the gaps if there were any. So then I started placing these. This is a picker upper, I think it's called, and I'll link it. I got it at Sally Beauty Supply. In hindsight, it's not my favorite thing to use. It's supposed to be able to pick up without anything. It's not really picking up the pieces very well. I had to add a little dab of top coat to it to get it to pick up correctly. And I'm sorry, I'm out of camera here a little bit. Here I've added some pieces already gone down the middle, but I'm starting to realize that I can't see what I'm doing, and I figure you can't see it either. So I'm bringing it a little closer to my face to see if I could see where I was going, but it's crooked because I can't see where I'm placing it. So I decided to take off the black coat of paint and put on this paint that I made myself. I actually added some drops of black paint to clear to make kind of a smoky effect, and it really needs to be shaken a little bit, or to have a ball put in there, because it went on pretty streaky. And in hindsight, I really don't think I needed this layer, but now I can at least see where I'm placing these sequins. And again, my idea is to start a line down the middle and then fill in where I need them. So I went ahead and sped this up a little bit because this really did take quite a bit of time. And I'm going ahead and placing the pieces. Now I'm recording this voiceover after I've already worn this manicure, so I can tell you now, again in hindsight, that if you want to do something like this, it is a really pretty effect, but it's not going to last you for a very long time unless I would imagine that you put some sort of nail glue down or cover it heavily, heavily, heavily with top coat. It was starting to come up the next day. So I would only recommend doing this for a very short period of time. If you had a party that you wanted to go to, you could definitely do it for that. And then when you came home, if you wanted to just take that nail off and put maybe regular glitter or just a layer of black paint, because this was actually, you'll see, I don't know if you can see actually, but it kind of, where the edges were to one line would kind of catch on things, so they started to peel up. It could be my application method. It could be that like I said, I didn't use nail glue, and I used only 2 layers of top coat. But what I'm doing is putting these glitter pieces in and filling in the gaps. And I'm sorry my hand is in the way, but I haven't figured out a better way to try and do that without covering up the camera, as in the camera is right in front of me. I'm just going to add some more pieces on here and fill it in as I need to. I really did like this effect though. And I know you can see where the top coat was on the top of the glitter pieces, but that kind of goes away when you add the top coat to the whole thing. And now I'm running into the edge where I have less nail and more sequin. So I'm going to place it here and kind of measure and see how much of it I need. And then I can come in with nail clippers. And I tried to clip it on there, but it wasn't glued on very well. And every time I was putting down a layer of sequins, I was putting down a layer of top coat or clear coat. Now I just clip that sequin and I'm going to fill it in that space. And I did the same thing along the sides as well. I didn't show you the whole thing because really it did take quite a bit of time. I put a little extra top coat on there so I could kind of get it stuck on. And I'm putting it on the wrong way. But I figured it out. And now I've got it on the right way. So like I said, I went and did the same thing, measured along the sides, and put in pieces as I needed. So now there it is, all finished up. And this is my second layer of top coat because it is very, very textured when you're done with it. And I was afraid pieces were going to come up, and they still did. Within about the 24-hour mark, pieces started to come up. So I would recommend either another layer of top coat or, like I said, nail glue. But I really did like this effect quite a bit. And there's the finished look. And I'm so glad that you guys watched. Thank you for joining me. And I want to wish you all a very happy new year and all the blessings for the year to come. Thanks again for watching. See you later.